Well, this is a pleasant surprise. We haven't had an episode adding to the lore of dragons since Season 2. We haven't had any real growth for Spike's character since Season 4. And honestly, this entry brings a lot of potential for future storylines. I have to say, I am rather impressed with Gauntlet of Fire. For the most part. Our story begins with a bit of a retread of Dragon's Quest, Spike wanting to help out his friends and being unintentionally belittled by Rarity's words. But considering just how much this story is really a direct follow-up to Dragon's Quest in the first place, it kind of makes sense to show what others think of Spike's real potential before introducing the new struggle, which manifests with Spike's scales beginning to glow and the princesses explaining that he must answer to the summons of the Dragon Lord. Okay, this setup actually intrigued me more than most any other episode in the past year. Apparently this Dragon Lord's time as a ruler has been spent and a new dragon must take his place. We even get a Return of Garble, who is pretty much just as one note as he was last time, and is really only here to provide a bit more direct conflict. But we are introduced to a couple of new dragons. The Dragon Lord Torch, who provides a few chuckle-worthy moments with his shouting, as well as a new female dragon by the name of Princess Ember. Seriously, even though this episode is destroying who knows how many fanfiction ideas of the past, this one introduction is probably going to turn out even more fan interpretations than any other new character in the past year. It's like she was introduced just to give Spike a friend among his own species. But with that in mind, this can really only work if the writers build on it later. We'll just have to wait and see. To be honest, there is more than a few lines of dialogue that make me cringe hearing them. I know a lot of episodes of MLP have worked in similar speeches about friendship and believing in others, but most of the time the writing managed to keep me engaged and entertained even when hearing lessons we've heard many times before. Here, it almost feels like the dialogue is taking a step back at times, pulling me out of the moment. With that said, I did thoroughly enjoy Twilight and Rarity's inclusion into the story. Their banter back and forth provides some good comedy. That moment when Ember asks how they keep getting ahead of them all the time, and yet they never provide an answer. We could always assume that Twilight is teleporting everywhere, but it's fun to keep the audience in the dark sometimes. And the fact that Spike decides completely on his own that he needs to stay and take part in a challenge shows real growth for his character. Not because his friends guilted him into doing so, not even because the Dragon Lord demanded he stick around, but simply because he was wise enough to understand the danger of a reckless young dragon taking charge and causing havoc in Equestria. That is a very worthwhile motivation. The challenges themselves were pretty straightforward, though I'm still very curious as to why Spike seems to be the only dragon without wings. I was also rather confused as to why only the young dragons were showing up for the summons when we've seen plenty of other adult dragons in the series before. But then when the Dragon Lord says,
"Dragons of Equestria, hear me!"
it got me to wonder whether these really are the only dragons that actually live in the land of Equestria, and this Dragon Lord perhaps is only one of many throughout the world. It's a thought at least. As for Ember becoming the new Dragon Lord, once again there is a great deal of potential with this development. Last year we got to see the Griffin Kingdom, and I get the feeling that with Gilda's new outlook on life, she may very well move into a position of power someday. And as this episode states, there could be an unspoken kinship between ponies and dragons down the road, possibly leading into an alliance. And if episodes like these are actually leading into a major conflict somewhere in the future, where ponies find they cannot hold on without the other races to stand by their side, who knows what sort of possibilities this could bring? Overall, Gauntlet of Fire brought us new characters with interesting potential, enriched the lore while exploring new locations, all while keeping Spike as the main focus and showing how much he continues to grow as a character. While some of the dialogue is underwhelming, the lesson feels a bit recycled from previous episodes, and the story is quite predictable right from the start, the new possibilities for future stories more than makes up for any issues I have. A worthwhile entry in the series that I'll be spending a lot of time pondering over. In the meantime, though, I would enjoy hearing your thoughts on Gauntlet of Fire. Do you think that Spike and Ember will be working together in the future? How did you react to the added lore of dragons and how their society works? What do you suppose might be coming up next in Spike's story arc? I would like to hear your thoughts on Gauntlet of Fire, and here's looking forward to all the new fanfiction ideas that will spawn from just this one episode. I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.